Welcome to the official Two Bros One Pod Super Bowl preview and prediction show. Today, we're going to discuss how these teams got here, a quick summary of their path, and then we're going to discuss the Super Bowl itself, what we think is going to happen, how we think some players are going to perform, who we think the winner is going to be, and possibly who we think our MVP will be. So, Jay, let's get them what they want. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's get it going. All right, Jay. So we got the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Yep.
The number one seed in the AFC, the number one seed in the NFC. Kind of what you expected, two great teams. But let's talk a little bit about how they got here. Kick us off. I want you, since you're wearing an NFC shirt, same division, even though they're our rivals, might as well talk about the NFC. Let me know how the Eagles got there.
I guess so. So to start off, the Eagles ended up, the very first game was against the Lions. Okay. It was a very competitive game. They ended up winning 38-35. All right. So that's 1-0. They ended up beating the Vikings, destroying them 24-7, 2 wins. Same thing with Washington, 24-28, 3 wins in a row. All right. So they pretty much kept doing this all the way up to week 10. All right. So they went 9-0. I'm sorry, because they had a bye in week 7. So they went 8-0. All right. So they beat from week 1 the Lions, the Vikings, the Washington Commanders, the Jaguars. Okay. They had a really close game with the Arizona Cardinals. However, they still won 20-17.
Wow. Didn't even know.
Cowboys, which probably by that time was like their best competition, right? The one team that could have possibly beaten them. No, they ended up beating them 26-17. They got themselves a well-deserved bye week. And then they continued on destroying, whooping some butt against the Steelers, 35-13. And then against the Texans, 29-17. And then something very interesting happened in week 10 when they faced the Washington Commanders for the second time.
Okay.
That game, I lost some money. Okay. I lost some money.
What is that?
I was convinced that the Eagles were going to destroy the Washington Commanders.
Right.
Boy, was I wrong. Okay. Not only was it not a close game, they lost 32-21. Okay.
Damn.
Up to this point, not a single team since week 1, the Detroit Lions. Okay. The Detroit Lions scored 32 points on them. After that, not a single team scored over 21 points.
Wow.
Okay. Up to week 10. Week 10, they lost 32-21 against Washington.
The defense is ridiculous.
I know. All right. And then after that, they kind of like woke up. They were like, got a little slap on the face. They're like, all right, come on. We're the Philadelphia Eagles. All right. So now they continued on, but again, they almost kind of were doubting themselves week 11 against the Colts. They almost lost. They won 17-16 by 1 point. All right. And then they kind of started turning it up again. All right. They had to play against Aaron Rodgers. They were like, all right, man, this is going to be a crazy game. 40-33. Straight out blowout game. All right. Then they beat the Titans week 13, 35-10. Then they destroyed the Giants 48-22. Then they beat the Chicago Bears. By this time, Justin Fields was already, he was in his thing. He was doing his thing. So it was a little bit of a close game. 25-20. They still ended up winning. Then week 16 and 17, I guess they were already looking past the season. They were like, man, we're killing it. They probably didn't even pay attention to these guys. They probably took their foot off the throttle a little bit. They weren't going to maybe at 100%. So they got 2 losses back to back.
Aren't those also the games when Jalen Hurts got hurt?
Well, that too, but
just in case.
It's just something minor. Quarterback position is not that important anyway.
It's not like you needed to win.
Potato, whatever.
Yeah. Just ask the Niners. Just ask the 49ers.
It's all right. So week 16, week 17. Okay, they played the Cowboys. Again, blowout game. With no Jalen Hurts, blowout game, 40-34. And against the Saints, I was a little surprised there, 20-10. They lose. All right. But week 18, they finish off beating week 18, they finish off beating the Giants 16-22. So now that moves on to the divisional game, right? Giants, obviously, they had a first week bye. So they ended up going up against the Giants because the Giants beat the Vikings.
Yep.
So that set up, the biggest upset for the Giants to be, Giants could do this. We got this. No. We got nothing. We got spanked. That's what we did. All right. 38-7. They destroyed us. Practically every single possession they had, they scored points. Every single possession. All right. They move on to San Francisco for the conference game. Bro, they continued on from what happened with the Giants. Giants scored 7 points last week. You know what? San Francisco scored only 7 points. 31-7. They ended up winning, which is how they got to the Super Bowl. And now they got to go up against probably their toughest competition yet. And what a way, in the biggest game of them all.
Yeah.
Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right.
So that's how they got to the Super Bowl.
Hey, listen, you said it. They're going up against, in my opinion, I agree, the toughest competition they had all season. The Cowboy games were really good. I remember watching that Week 16 game with Gardner Minshew, and it's a very good game. And they've had a couple other good games, but like the Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they're gonna give them a run for their money. Vice versa, the Eagles will also give the Chiefs a run for their money. But now that you gave us the Eagles rundown, let's give you the Chiefs rundown. The Chiefs didn't have that consistent of a start as the Eagles did. The Chiefs started off with an amazing win against the Cardinals, 44-21. Then they just beat the Chargers in week 2, 27-24. Then they took a very surprising loss to the Colts, 17-20. They beat the Buccaneers 41-31. They barely beat the Raiders 30-29. They lost to the Bills 24-20. And that's when everybody's like, "Oh, the Chiefs are done."
Yeah,
it's the Bills. Chiefs are done. And I don't know how that played out, but we'll get to that later. Then they beat the 49ers 44-23, which is honestly very impressive because at that point, the 49ers defense was ridiculous. Week 8, they had a bye. Then for the next 4 weeks, weeks 9, week 10, week 11, week 12, they went on a win streak. They beat the Titans, they beat the Jaguars, they beat the Chargers, they beat the Rams. Week 13, they lost to the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes, 0-3 versus Joe Burrow. First, it was forget it, the Chiefs are done, Bills are the king. Now it's forget it, Chiefs are done, Bengals are kings. And I mean, rightfully so. Again, 0-3 against the Bengals. It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, not the Bengals, Joe Burrow Bengals, because he's beat the Bengals before.
Burrowhead, baby.
However, we'll get to that comment later. He took that loss, not only Mahomes, the team, a little personal because they haven't lost since. That was week 13. Week 14, they beat the Broncos 34-28. Week 15, they beat the Texans 30-24. Week 16, they beat the Seahawks 10-24. Week 17, they beat the Broncos 27-24. Week 18, they finished with the win against the Raiders 31-13. Now, ended up as the 1 seed. Obviously, once again, with what happened with DeMar Hamlin, the Bills and Vegas couldn't play. That could have affected the 1 seed. Whatever. Everybody knew if the Bills and the Chiefs made the conference playoffs, it'll be played a neutral site, which was decided to be Atlanta. If it's the Bengals, the Chiefs take the number 1 seed. So at the moment, the Chiefs were number 1 seed. They had the bye week. They moved on to the next round. They had the bye week. Then they had to play in the divisional round against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had just come off ridiculous comeback against the Chargers. The Chargers were up what was it, like 27-3, I think, at the half.
Yeah,
something like that. And the Chargers ended up
honestly,
losing.
I think it was like 27-0, I think, at one point.
Something like that. And the Jaguars ended up winning 31-30.
Crazy.
Like what? I really thought at halftime, I was like, well, the Chargers are in. Let's go. Let's see how they play. And then when I checked again, I was like, huh? But whatever. Regardless, that meant the Jaguars had to travel to Arrowhead, or as you said, Burrowhead, to play the Chiefs. Started off hot, but then Patrick Mahomes rolled his ankle really bad. Turned out to be a high ankle sprain. Sat out the rest of the first half. Came back second half. Didn't look the same. Looked a little hurt. They sneaked it out. They won 27-20 against the Jaguars. Once again, I think with the healthy Mahomes, it would have been worse. Well, I should say better for the Chiefs, but it ended up being 27-20. Then we move on to the conference championship. The Bengals coming off you could label shock, a surprise win against the Bills. I wouldn't really necessarily say that because I think they're so equal. But the Bills were expected to win. Whatever, the Bengals ended up beating them at Buffalo in snowy conditions. The Bengals win. So now they're coming to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 0-3 versus Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati mayor putting out a very cringe video about how he wants Joe Burrow to get tested for paternity because he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes' dad. calling it Burrowhead, saying all these things, and I know that they took it very personal because
Yeah.
shout out to the Kelseys, by the way. I listened to their podcast. It's an amazing podcast. You guys should check it out. It's called New Heights if you guys are interested. But Travis Kelce mentioned on his podcast, he looked really upset. He was like, yeah, they're giving us a lot of bulletin board material, and we'll see how it goes. And throughout the week, that was the whole talk. It was a lot of trash talk, which is normal between teams and players. I think that's normal.
Yeah, of course.
Once like a mayor gets involved, it's like, bro, what do you?
Yeah. Like stay in your lane.
Yeah. Which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Whatever. Incredible game from start to finish. I loved watching that game. Patrick Mahomes is now 1-3 versus Joe Burrow because the Chiefs won 23-20, taking them to the Super Bowl. And going back to the stay in your lane thing, during the celebration of the AFC Championship, they actually
that was legendary. That was legendary.
It was probably the greatest clip ever. Travis Kelce goes on the mic and goes, "Hey yo, to that Cincinnati mayor, know your role and stay in your lane, yeah, jabroni." Bro, I clapped. It reminded me of The Rock. It reminded me why Travis Kelce's the GOAT. I was very happy to see that because I mean, like I said, like, bro, like I know you try to support your team, but there's other ways of doing it. Like, don't do that. Like like I said, to me, teams do it to each other, players do it to each other. Sure, normal, part of the game. But like, you're a mayor, bro. Like, legit, stay in your lane. But listen, it ended up paying off for the Chiefs. They ended up taking that personally. They're now undefeated since that Bengals loss mid-season, week 13, and now they play the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And honestly, it's gonna be such a good game in my opinion. I really hope I'm not let down. I expect like a super high scoring game. I know the Eagles defense is ridiculous, but the Chiefs offense, guided by Mahomes, is something
not healthy. Not healthy though.
Yes, but he's gonna have 2 weeks to recover that ankle. After that,
to a thing that you need like 6 weeks to recover from. You've had a high ankle sprain before. I've had a high ankle sprain before.
Yeah, but like, look, it's Patrick Mahomes. Think about it. With the high ankle on one ankle, how did he play against the Bengals? Like, come on now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Come on now. And that's a week.
Yeah, but he shouldn't even have been playing. So those 6 weeks that he should have been healing, that week of him playing made it worse. He should be in crutches right now. I'm pretty sure he's in crutches.
I don't know. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Well, I would be in crutches if I was him.
Hey, and that's why we're not professional quarterbacks. But yeah, look, that's the road to the Super Bowl. Let's get into our predictions real quick.
Let's do it.
The first thing I want us to predict: who do you think will have more combined touchdowns, passing or throwing? Obviously, combining them. Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes?
I'm gonna have to go with Jalen Hurts on this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with him on that one just because throwing wise, I see both of them throwing for 2, but I also see both of them throwing for 3.
Right.
But I just feel like, when it comes to the rushing, again, Mahomes is not at 100%. I feel like Jalen Hurts, once he's gonna be in the red zone, he's gonna want to take over, control the ball. They're gonna be rushing him more, and he's a great rusher. So I do see him. He could rush for 1, maybe even 2. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with Jalen Hurts on this one. What about you?
I think overall, I'd also go Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I think it's the rushing. It's the rushing that just puts him over the top. Like this man, like you said, Mahomes is not 100%. Mahomes is not really gonna rush it in. He barely rushes it in as it is. On one ankle, he's not gonna do it. So I agree. I think
against that defense.
I think if we're putting separate bets, for example, like if we're talking FanDuel, whatever, and I had to bet who's going to throw more touchdowns, Mahomes.
Yeah, I agree.
If we're talking rushing, obviously Jalen Hurts. If we're talking combined, I still think Jalen Hurts. So
yeah,
actually, this if you were betting right now for tomorrow, and the odds were Patrick Mahomes over under 2.5 touchdowns, what are you taking?
Throwing touchdowns,
just straight throwing.
You got 1-2 Kelce. Without a doubt. Possibly 2-2 Kelce. I don't know why. Man, you said 2.5?
Yeah.
Man, that's so close. I'm gonna have to go over though.
I think I take the over as well.
Yeah, I think
I see Kelce, McKinnon, and then if it's not Kelce again, maybe MVS.
I was gonna say Juju. I think Juju's gonna have a fantastic game.
I hope so. I really like Juju. So
Yeah.
last one for quarterbacks, over under 1.5 passing touchdown, Jalen Hurts.
Over.
Over? So you think
Yep.
two at least? Okay.
Yep.
I respect
Yep.
that. I think I'd take the over too.
Yeah. I think
Um,
AJ and Goddard could catch touchdowns.
I think Devontae, man.
You know, maybe not AJ. You're right.
Yeah, I
Because
think
they're gonna
Devontae.
be they're gonna be currying the heck out of
Yeah.
AJ. So it could be Devontae.
Okay. Now let's move on to the rushing real quick.
Okay.
Rushing, honestly, it's the quickest one because I feel like yes, Pacheco, I really like the way he runs. Miles Sanders had a great season. But at the end of the day, I think the best rusher in the whole field is Jalen Hurts. Right.
Yeah.
So if you had to pick one player to lead the game in rushing, who would it be?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I think that is a no-brainer.
Okay.
I think Jalen Hurts rushes for over 60 easy.
60. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. All right. And the very last section that we want to talk about is the receiving. We already know Travis Kelce most likely is going to lead the receiving in Kansas City. So who do you think leads the game in receiving?
I'm gonna have to go with Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Do you
I'm gonna
think
have to go
he-
with
Do you think he hits over 100?
Yeah, I think he hits over
Ooh,
100.
Okay.
I think he hits over 100. I think AJ is going to struggle a little bit. However, AJ is going to be the one who's going to be honestly, I see AJ catching like 5 balls, but they're going to be going for like 15, 20, you know, so he's going to be up there also like around 80.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a shootout.
I
really
think
do.
so too.
I really
think
do.
so too.
But I feel like Mahomes is going to be doing anything. So what I see is this: Mahomes is going to do. He's been to Super Bowl before, right? So he knows what he has to do, what they have to do as a team to win. Okay, which is why it doesn't matter. You know, we don't got mouths to feed here like anybody demanding the ball, obviously besides Kelce, but he's not very vocal about it. Like, oh, give me the ball, give me the ball.
Right.
So MVS can catch some. Juju can catch some. McKinnon out of the backfield can catch some. You know, it could be some little throws here, little throws there. Kelce with the big plays, you know, simple. However, on the Philly side, I see them making the big plays.
Yeah.
Okay. Devontae running for 50. AJ catching one deep for 40. You know what I mean? Goddard for 25. You know what I mean? Like they have to feed those guys. They have to feed those guys. You know, so receiving, I do think Devontae, because again, AJ is going to be not shut down, but they are going to be focusing mainly on him 100%. Goddard is going to be, you know, the safety blanket, but when they want to go for the big play, I think it's going to be Devontae. And I don't know why. I just feel like he's going to go for one big chunk, one run, a gigantic run, like around 40, 50 yards.
I mean, I could see it. The Chiefs defense is kind of
Again,
suspect.
it's been happening all season.
Yeah.
It's been happening all season.
I mean,
What
I
about
agree
you?
though. I expect a blowout. I mean, not a blowout. Sorry, I expect a shootout. I expect it to be super high scoring. Like I said, I know the Eagles defense is good. The Chiefs defense has stepped up, but
Yeah.
these offenses are just built to score. So I expect a shootout. I think the leading receiver is Devontae
Again,
Smith.
Devontae Smith.
I do think it's Devontae Smith because I think AJ Brown is such a big body.
So between Kelce and Devontae Smith, who do you think? Who do you take?
Devontae Smith.
Do you think? Okay, well, how many? Yeah, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I
that's
think
gonna be close,
AJ
'cause
Brown.
I think Kelce can go over 100 also. Easy.
I do, but
Kelce
the
will
thing
go
is,
over 100.
the Eagles have pretty decent linebackers that can cover. Now, Kelce is a different breed.
Kelce's Kelce, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And that mother, he's gonna go over 10 catches.
I think Kelce goes at least 80 yards, at least.
Easy.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to place these bets and see how it goes. But now, our final prediction. I want you to tell me two things. One, the Super Bowl champ. You could give a score if you'd like,
Okay.
just a prediction, and the Super Bowl MVP. Go.
So I've been contemplating this a lot, and I'm gonna have to. So I think the game goes 24-24,
Okay.
goes to overtime, and the game will finish 31-24. Well, 7 points. So 30-24, right? Because they're not gonna kick that extra point. So 30-24. I guess that's really not a shootout, right? Because neither one are gonna, you know, go over 40 points or whatever. But I do
I mean,
think
that's still 7 touchdowns.
yeah, it is. Because again, I'm looking at just the playoff run alone with Philly. Okay. Combined, the last two teams only 14 points. All right, that's they're gonna be motivated and they're gonna want to keep them. Like they're gonna be happy if they could leave Kansas City at 7, but we all know that's not going to happen. We know that. Okay, throughout the whole season, 2 teams scored on them over 30 points. That was week 1 and week 10. Other than that, nobody else. The closest was 21 points. I think Mahomes can do that as well. Okay. 30 something points. I don't think so because the Philly defense is very, very good.
Yeah.
Over 20, though, I do see that happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I say 24-24. However, I do think the Super Bowl champions will be the Philadelphia Eagles in overtime.
Okay.
As much as I hate to admit it, I do think that Patty Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, I would love to see them get a second ring. I would love to see the Eagles lose in the Super Bowl. But I just think the injury plays a huge role. The rushing that Hurts has it's game changing. It really is. It really is. So I think Philadelphia Eagles will win, and the MVP will be Jalen Hurts.
Okay. All right. Listen, all I gotta say to that is this: Patrick Mahomes proved you wrong in the rankings. It's gonna prove you wrong in your prediction as well. I have the final score 27-24. The Chiefs winning a second Super Bowl in the last 5 years or 6 years, something like that. Patrick Mahomes, MVP. Travis Kelce, a close second, because I think Travis ends with 9 catches, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think Patrick Mahomes throws for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think Jalen Hurts comes up just a bit short. The inexperience. We have seen Jalen Hurts be not bad, but just not be this good before. And as good as he's been all season, this is a different game. This is a different game. There's no experience. Nick Sirianni doesn't have the experience. Nobody on that roster has the experience except like the O-line and some older players.
Yeah, but this is also not the toughest defense he's faced.
Not at all. But hey,
you know what I mean?
But hey, he's lost.
Experience does play a role. Experience does play a role, though.
Listen, the Texans defense at one point made them look bad. The Texans defense played them really well. And then, the Eagles did their thing. I think it's a very interesting game. Same thing. Technically, 27-24 is not a shootout per se, but still, that's 6 touchdowns. Yeah. If I want to push to 28-24, that's 7 touchdowns again. But I think it ends 27-24. I think the Eagles go off to a strong lead. I think they go 10-0 to start, and little by little, the Chiefs pick it off and slowly start chipping away at it. And at the end of the day, you'll see Patrick Mahomes lifting the second Super Bowl title.
I will say this.
With a second Super Bowl MVP.
I will say this. I think the game goes to overtime. Like I said, 24-24. Whoever wins the coin toss in overtime is champion, which is why I'm saying Philadelphia Eagles, because I think they're going to go ahead and take that first drive, and they're just going to – overtime is going to be quick.
Well, remember, keep in mind the new rules. Both teams.
Oh, you got the – yeah, that's right. You're right.
So you're thinking Philly scores and then they stop them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Fair enough.
I think so.
Interesting. This is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. I still believe in my Chiefs. Well, not my Chiefs, but you know what I mean. I still believe in the Chiefs. I still believe in this is my quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. And please don't let me down. Please. I have a lot of hope here. Again, Patrick Mahomes proved you wrong once before, but Jalen Hurts did prove you right. Not twice. Well. Hey, one of them is going to do it twice because Jalen Hurts proved you right because you were really right with his rankings. Patrick Mahomes proved you wrong. So let's see. Will he prove you wrong a second time, or will Jalen Hurts prove you right a second time? It's going to be interesting to find out. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the Super Bowl. We'll come back and see how we did with these predictions.
Yeah. And not just that, bro. Not just that. Let's have the people tell us who they think is gonna win.
Oh, absolutely. In the comments below, please let us know.
Poll. Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Do you think the Chiefs will take it second time? Do you think the Eagles win? What do you think the score is? MVP? Do you disagree maybe with the rushing leaders, with the touchdowns that we said, with the receivings? Yeah, let us know. Let us know your thoughts, because at the end of the day, that's what makes sports so beautiful. Everybody can have a different opinion but still enjoy it. So let us know. Let us know. We're always here to listen. That does it for me. If you got anything else to say, send us home, baby.
Yeah, no, I think the most important thing I got to say is Giants.
Pay
the man. All right. And shout out to the new captain of the Yankees, baby.
Oh, yeah. Shout out. Even though you guys didn't
listen, whatever, cut the episode right here. That's it. We gotta go into anything deeper.